What's going on, guys? Welcome to sportsnet.ca/drafted. And of course, we are here for the after show. I'm with the lovely Jackie Redmond, of course, our judge, and Bianca T, the queen of snark, obviously on Twitter through this whole show. So like we were saying before, guys, make sure that you tweet at us with the hashtag GilletteDrafted. Every episode, we're going to be discussing kind of one major topic from the episode. This time, it's Anthony Bruno's failure at the Guelph press conference. He made a factual error, so we want to know, does that error equal him being in the bottom three? It's kind of a tough talking point. I actually don't know watching it back. I was impressed with him. What did you guys think? Bianca, what did you think?
Well, I mean, for me, I don't know that he made the error. I don't know what the stats are, but I thought he did a great job, like, altogether in the press conference. So, but, I mean, to the players, I guess that would be the big deal?
Well, you know, as a judge, obviously, I thought that it equaled bottom three because that's where he ended up. But, you know, the big thing is I'm not going to hold this mistake against him forever. But the first thing the players and Coach Stu Lang brought up when we were deliberating was, oh, that one guy made a mistake. That, you know, that wasn't the last time that we went to the Yates Cup final. So when you make a mistake like that, you know, you lose credibility instantly, especially with the athletes and the guys that are so close to the subject matter. And, you know, I don't know if you could allude to this either, Maddie, but, you know, you make a mistake like that, people don't forget. They hold it against you for a long time. And part of, you know, this job is knowing everything. And as impossible as that is sometimes, that is part of the job. So I had no choice but to hold it against him. But he did do a good job. His questions were solid.
It's funny, I had that moment too right on my season where I did the Marty Biron thing during the talk with you and Pizzo with some hockey stuff. So I understand, right, holding it against him. Watching it back, though, I did like, you know, that question that he had for John Rush was a great question with the stats and everything like that. Was that more impressive than Andrew Corey getting the laugh from the panel?
Well, Andrew Corey didn't win the challenge, so
sure, but
really
Andrew Corey was still top three.
Andrew Corey's top three because, you know what, there is something to be said for being likable and being memorable. If you can win an athlete over when you're interviewing them, whether it's at a press conference or one-on-one, guess who they're going to warm up to right away the next time you go to practice or you go to a game or something happens or someone gets traded. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, I like that guy. Whereas, you know, so you do get points for that. People think, you know, it's always about sports IQ, sports IQ, sports IQ. But there are other things that come into the equation when you're being a sportscaster, and being likable is definitely one of them.
We were debating, too, off camera about how big it was that O2 stood up. I think it was huge. I think it made the impression, even subconsciously, to the panel that he was more professional. Maybe he knew what he was doing more. Did you see that at all?
I definitely thought so. And for me, as someone who I don't go to press conferences, I don't watch press conferences. But in the beginning, when nobody was standing up, it felt a little off. Like I was like, I feel like they should be standing up. And then he did, and it made him seem like a lot more confident and a lot more assertive, like he belonged there.
Okay, really quickly though, his outfit?
It's a lot of green.
It was a lot of green. He looked very good. Yes, we have a wonderful crew that dresses everybody. I love them very much. I don't know, it was a little too green for me.
I liked your cardigan.
Did you? I thought it made me kind of look frumpy.
Contrary to what you two want, this isn't America's Next Top Model, hey?
I'm just saying, I think outfit needs to be discussed.
In the words of Cam, this is a sports competition, people.
Okay, all I'm saying is that. Anyway, diving into our highlights and lowlights, I want to start this time. I loved the Crest 3D White time trial. Jackie and I put this together. Producer Barrow says he did as well, but it was mainly Jackie and I. I absolutely loved it. The thing, though, for me, my low light was the fact that I didn't get to be there for the judging. I don't know if you noticed that. I was actually in the bathroom having my exorcist moment. I was quite sick to my stomach, chicken yakitoriing all over the place. I don't know. Did you guys have some highlights and lowlights? I loved the Crest 3D.
Oddly enough, you being gone, it was like a lot less loud that day.
Oh, interesting.
It was. No,
nice.
You know what?
Nice.
Just kidding. You know I love you.
I know.
You know, it's funny. For me, I loved everything about this episode. I think the highlight for me was actually Joseph O'Too's interview with Matthew Barnaby was stellar. You saw a little bit of it there.
Good.
You know, Matthew Barnaby talking about, you know, Gary Roberts coming back from his neck injury and saying, oh, I'm going to break your neck. Like, that is crazy stuff.
It's
and I've never heard him say that before. I think he said it was his first game back. So that's the highlight for me. The low lights is something that you wouldn't have been able to tell by watching the episode, but at the press conference in Guelph, it's August 14th, okay, just to give you an idea of the time frame that we filmed this episode. it was colder than it is tonight in October. It was like a December evening. I was freezing. And if you actually look, I think we have a still of Brett Gonzalez's face. He looks terrified.
Do we actually? Do we have
I think
this
it's up right now. I hope it's up right now.
He was miserable. He
looked terrified, but really, he's just really cold.
Yeah.
It was really cold.
That was funny, though. Watching it back, he looks like he's in pain. He was shivering. We also had an amazing crew of people there helping us out at Guelph University. I want to give a quick shout out to them. And they were in flip-flops and T-shirts, and they were out there. It got later and later and later in the night, and they did an amazing job of powering through. It was pretty amazing.
I don't know how you would do that. I get so cranky.
I was cranky, too. We all were. Did you have some highlights, lowlights?
Really quickly, my low light was Sweaty Teddy during that whole...
Oh, my God. That was amazing. That was amazing,
That's a gross picture. But my highlight was... the sinister and nefarious face that Harrison made when Joe 2 won. And I hope it's going to be put up on the screen so everybody can see it, because I like to do that face too.
I think they're
ready
for you.
Let's compare.
That's pretty good. That's pretty bang on.
It's like in a soap opera when they cut like to the next week on Days of Our Lives. You killed my brother?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's Harrison.
Yeah, the father is my brother, right? And then you have that moment, exactly.
I love that face. I'm calling it. Harrison has the worst face of the season.
I don't know. I love it. I think he looks good.
Best.
I love it. I love the tension, the drama.
It's like almost like a watch ad.
Well, the thing
I never knew two people could spend so much time talking about a face.
Well, we can, and I'm going to keep going with it. I think Harrison was amazing in that moment. For you guys who don't know, he loves Matthew Barnaby, right? That was a big blow to him. And also, I think he wasn't very happy with his performance, so I think that was partly it too. But we got to move on from there, because we have our in-studio guest here. You may recognize him from the top 6 of Gillette drafted this season. The one, the only, Anthony Bruno. Do we have Bruno?
Slow clap.
Come on down, Bruno. Where is this guy?
There
he is.
What's up, guys?
Looking jacked. Come here,
how's
buddy.
How's it going, Maddie?
Nice
to see you too, buddy.
Come on, say hello, Bianca.
Bianca, how's it going?
Buddy,
Jackie.
Come on in.
Come on in. What's up?
It's weird, buddy. I feel like we haven't seen you in a long time, and we spent so much time together.
I know, it was so good just being on the road with you guys the whole time, getting to know everyone so well. And I haven't seen you guys for like a month now, and it was just great coming back here.
How is it, before we get into all the drama, how was it watching the show back?
It's amazing. I was looking forward to just seeing how everything was going to be edited together. That was the #1 thing I was looking forward to. And I mentioned this to you guys earlier, but when I was watching the season premiere at home, the second my face popped up on the screen, all my friends and family were going nuts, so I couldn't hear anything. So it was actually nice for a change to watch it in peace and quiet here.
So speaking of having things edited together, we'll start with the elephant in the room, I guess.
Okay.
Your shot of Joe 2 at the end.
I mean,
what was the snark? What was that about? Come on.
I know Joe 2's watching right now.
Yeah, I bet
Joe 2 is the coolest guy.
He is.
He knows I love him. But I mean, it's all in good fun, right? I'm competitive. I hate losing. So when he won that first challenge, I mean, obviously I'd be happy too if I won that challenge. But I mean, it's the first assignment of Gillette drafted, so don't get ahead of yourself. That's basically what I was just trying to say.
I liked the comment. I was like, Bruno wants this. He shouldn't be happy that somebody else won.
Exactly. I'm here to win every single challenge, whether it's a warm-up challenge, fuel-up challenge, assignment. That's what I'm here to do. And if I come in 2nd place or even 3rd place, I'm going to be upset.
How did you feel in that moment when you made that error? Because you know what? I've been there in this business. I've made factual errors. And when you realize what you've done, you just wish that you could take that moment back. How did you feel in that moment when you realized, oh man, I made a mistake, and everybody caught it?
Like going back to the first episode when Greg said, Anthony, you're in the top 6, that was like the greatest moment of my life. And then Guelph just brought me right back down to earth. But I actually thought I was going to be in the top 3 after that assignment. But as soon as you said, Bruno, you're 4th, I knew immediately I had screwed up an error or a fact, and I knew that I pulled a Matty D from season 4.
Nice. Nice. It's called pulling a Matty D. That's wonderful.
But I mean, it was frustrating because I'm a guy that loves my stats. Like whenever I debate sports, talk about sports, I always go back to the numbers, and it was just so unfortunate to screw up something like that was so minor.
But I want to get your thoughts though, because the hashtag obviously for this episode is, did that error equal you being in the bottom 3? What do you think? I mean, I know we're gonna get to some tweets soon.
Get to some tweets soon.
Yeah, we're gonna. But like Bruno, what do you think, man?
I'm gonna own up to it. I deserve to be in the bottom 3. I mean,
Okay.
I made the mistake, and it's fair, right? I mean, there's 2 ways that it could have gone. If this was a live press conference on Sportsnet 360, and you actually hear me as the reporter giving that question, then it looks bad. But if you're throwing to me in the field and I'm a reporter and you're throwing to like a packaged story that I've done, it would be my voiceover instead of that question. You wouldn't even hear that. So, I mean, it's unfortunate, obviously, but I'm gonna man up to it. I screwed up.
And you're cool with 0-2 being the winner? Watching it back, seeing the whole press conference?
Yeah, because it's like Jackie said, right? He had a good story, and that's what it's all about. When you go to something like that, whether it's a press conference, anything when you're in a scrum with, an athlete, you're trying to get a great story out of it, and that's what Joe 2 did.
And I think, too, when you make a mistake like that, you learn your lesson real quick. I bet you'll be triple checking everything and thinking before you speak from this point forward.
That's a bit of foreshadowing for the rest of the season. So what's going on Twitter? Anything?
I'm going to bring Twitter into this in a big way. Julian Barbosa.
Julian the Vest Barbosa.
For those who don't know, Julian was in the top 25.
He was.
He's having a field day on Twitter, typing out basically his life story. So he started out saying, "Here, Gillette drafted. You want a story? You got it. After hearing about my fate, I waited in the lobby to congratulate the top 6. Blah, blah, blah. Wanted to go to dinner with a few of them. Blah, blah, blah. Then Teddy interrupted my convo with Bruno and told me, and I quote, 'Hey, listen, you guys can't come. We're doing a top 6 thing.'"
So essentially what he's saying is that the top 6, when they found out they were in the top 6, that they excluded everybody else? Is that what you're saying?
Or Teddy did.
Or that's what he's saying?
That's what he's saying.
Bruno, is this true? Do you remember this?
I mean, Teddy may have said something close to that.
I
honestly don't know exactly what he said word for word. But what happened is that after we found out we made it, we kind of all got together and we said we're going to go for a drink. Me personally, I actually wanted to go back and say hi to everybody because I made some pretty good friends with some of the guys that got eliminated. And so we got back to the hotel and everyone's like, okay, meet down in the lobby in 5 minutes. And then when we got there, some of the other guys that had been eliminated were down there and it got kind of awkward. And some guys took it the wrong way. But, I mean, what are you going to do, right?
Do you think Teddy meant it the way that it was construed?
I don't think so. Not really, to be honest. I mean, Teddy's just kind of upfront like that.
It's a good word.
I don't think he means it in a bad way. But, I mean, it depends really how you take it, right? I guess Julian didn't really like that.
Well, I'm going to jump right back in there and say that Julian has also tweeted.
Oh, my
that
goodness, it doesn't end there.
Yeah, he's on fire, this guy. Okay, what do we got?
Jude got robbed. He should be in the top 6. He's a superstar in the making, but he can't do a German accent, so...
Wow, taking shots at Andrew Corey now.
As one of the judges, I would like to pipe in here.
Go.
You know what? It's funny that comment... you don't see, first of all, this is the 2nd episode of this season.
Yeah.
Andrew Corey is a great guy for anyone out. I mean, for those who don't know, you've only seen him in the episode. He's a great guy. And I think for somebody to judge him based on a minute and a half of the first episode and to say that about him, I think is very unfair. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Sure. But I also understand, and you do, Jackie, that this is, and Bruno, you can speak to this, it's emotional being part of this show, right? And when you feel certain ways about certain things, it's hard. And I understand why Julian maybe was rubbed the wrong way by what Teddy said, or he feels a certain way about Jude or not. So I understand.
I don't understand. To rip somebody else that has found success and has made the top 6, to rip them because you like another person, I have no problem with Julian saying, I think Jude should have made it. I think that's fair. But to cut up Andrew Corey, who he doesn't really know and who he doesn't know how this guy's going to do in the competition, I think is out of line, to be honest.
Andrew Corey is an absolute class act.
It's a good word.
Seriously,
He's
one of the greatest guys I've ever met. And see, what a lot of people don't realize is that it's edited, right? So you're not seeing so much of the other things that happen during boot camp. You see that short clip of of Corey doing all those accents, but you don't actually see some of the other things he did when he was talking to you, doing the hosting segment.
And you also don't see all of Jude's boot camp either.
Exactly.
It's true.
Whether that's for better or for worse, who knows? But you don't see all of it.
I know that we got the producers in the back trying to get Julian Barbosa on the phone so that we can answer, so he can be called to the carpet, if you will, to answer for these tweets. But in the meantime, I know we're trying to get him. Bruno, I noticed on Twitter you're getting some love from my boy Johnny, actually, out in BC. What's the reaction like?
Yeah, I mean,
do you like that stuff? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. I love when when people are rooting for me. I got a lot of friends and family that want me to win this thing, and it's great to see that. I mean, I'm sure I'm gonna get chirped for some of the things that I do. Like tonight, I'll probably get chirped for screwing up that fact. But I mean, that's what comes with being on this show, right? At the end of the day, this is a reality show. So you have to expect those things.
Okay, so it's funny. We have the one, the only 5-time Teddy on the phone. Teddy, can you hear us?
Yes, I can, Matty.
How you doing, man?
I'm fantastic. How you guys doing?
Good. Where are you calling from?
I'm in lovely Victoria, BC.
Lovely Victoria, BC. Okay, so we're going to dive right in, Teddy, with actually 2 things we want to talk about. First of all, you freezing.
No.
You want to go to Barbosa?
We're going to Barbosa. What's wrong with you?
Okay. The judge, Jackie Redmond, pulled rank on me, and she wants to go right into the action going on Twitter. Did you say that to Barbosa? Did you hear earlier what we were talking about?
Yeah, I read the tweets and I heard what you guys were saying. Basically, what happened is the 6 of us wanted to go out as a group and go celebrate and have a few drinks after and just talk about the experience.
Fair.
And he was down there with Monte, and we were saying hey and sorry, and they were saying congratulations to us. But we didn't know how to say, hey, we're just going out with the 6 of us. And I didn't say it in a vindictive way or a mean way. If he took it that way, it wasn't my intention. I was just trying to, in the nicest way, just make it that, hey, you know what? We'd love for you to come out with us, but we're in a happy place. We don't want you being around when you're in the dumps,
I hope you didn't
bitter
say it
and
like
upset
that.
about not being able to come out with us and not making top 6. I felt bad for the guy. I felt bad for everybody who didn't make the final 6. But when we're on top of the moon, we didn't want to hang out with those guys while they were sort of picking apart and trying to say why they should have made it and why other guys shouldn't have made it.
I think Bruno has a response to that, so I'm going to let you chime in.
I mean, I wouldn't say I didn't want to hang out with them, because like I said before, I made some pretty good friends with a bunch of the people on this show. I still talk to some of them to this day. And I mean, you know what though? I do agree with Teddy that we did kind of want to go out as a group of 6. Who wouldn't, right? We're the top 6. We're feeling great. But I mean, you obviously do feel for the other people that didn't make it. And I didn't want to leave without saying bye to everybody.
No, but I do understand Teddy's point to jump into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hard to be happy when other people just had their
Teddy's
dreams
right.
crushed.
Yeah.
You know, I completely, but it's funny. I understand both sides.
There's 2 sides to it, exactly.
And I hope Barbosa
I
knows
do
that.
understand both sides as well. I would love to get Barbosa on the phone.
Well,
by
I think
the way.
we're trying. In my ear, the producers are saying we're trying, so we'll see how that goes.
Cool.
But now, is it okay? Can I jump to the press conference?
Yes.
Okay. I know.
I'm sorry. You know what, Maddie? I just couldn't the
know.
curiosity was killing me. I was like, I need to hear what Teddy has to say.
But I do want to focus on this moment. TJ, Teddy, you had this unbelievable opportunity to end the press conference. And for all intents and purposes, you choked pretty hard. We were talking about how you were flipping. It felt like an hour for us in the press conference. It was a bit shorter. Take us to that moment, Teddy. What happened there, man? What happened?
It was an hour for you. It was 2 hours in the freezing cold for me.
Yeah.
But I literally, as I said on the show, I had a question that I wanted to ask Jazz, right from the start, and I was so caught up in listening to everybody else's answers and trying to have the perfect follow-up question. I didn't stick with my game plan and my story, and I was all lost in my notes, and I was over-prepared but under-prepared at the same time, because I should have just had that question right there in front of me, and I just didn't ask it. And it's pained me. I've been dreading this moment and having this conversation with you guys again, because that was probably one of the lowest points so far in the competition for me.
What was the question?
The question was for Jazz to ask him, there aren't many Canadian quarterbacks in the CFL. Does he think that his game can translate into the pro Canadian game?
Good question.
Would have been
Too bad.
That would have been a gold star, Teddy. Would have been a gold star.
I know.
It's okay. There's one other thing that we have to get to. Sorry, Bianca. That didn't actually make the show, but was quite controversial in the moment, which was that on the way to Matthew Barnaby, Teddy and Harrison were kind of helping Joe 2 come up with his line of questioning. Teddy, do you remember helping Joe 2?
I probably could have written your script for this, Daddy. I knew there was 3 questions you were going to ask me. So I remember that, and I remember the conversation we've all had about it. And I just felt that in this, yes, it's a competition, but as someone that I've become friends with and I want to see him succeed, regardless of if it causes him to win or not, I'm not going to sewer a guy for an opportunity he has with Matthew Barnaby and make him look like an idiot. I'm going to try to help him be
Hang on, Teddy, because there's a difference between helping him and sewering him, as you said. Like, you know what I mean? It's a competition. It's a tough. Bianca, what do you think? As someone who's not really into sports, would you ever help someone in a reality show?
No, I wouldn't help someone in a reality show. I wouldn't help someone in like a fashion reality show.
Sure.
The only thing I would do, because it's me and I hate everybody, I'd probably give them the wrong information. Say, oh, you should ask him about that.
His time with the Leafs. His time with the
So
Leafs.
good. Remember that?
Bruno, what did you think? As being in the van, did it register to you?
Yeah, I think I was sitting in the back. And I think Teddy and Joe were in the middle seat. And I mean, personally, I probably wouldn't have helped Joe too. Not that I didn't want to help him. I would just, you know, keep my distance, let him do what he has to do. And me, I'm just focusing mentally for the next challenge. I'm not even thinking about Joe 2 talking to Barnaby at that point.
Well, the interesting thing about this, and it's a little bit complicated to explain, but you saw in the episode that we had a little pit stop. Yeah. Joseph O2 want to get your start card, the contents of which was that he could join in on the next prize. Now, here's my thing to explain this as simply as possible. If Joseph O2 doesn't win that, and Teddy, let's say you win that get your start card, you could have joined in on that Barnaby interview, but Joseph O2 would have had your complete line of questioning.
Well, if I was going to join him in the questioning, I wouldn't have been helping him with this question because I would have been working on my own questions.
Right, but my point is that we had to get your start card, and what if you had won that after helping Joseph O2? You would have been kicking yourself, no?
Yeah, but I didn't have the card, so I didn't have an issue with it.
You're not understanding
my
question.
You didn't know at the time, Teddy. You didn't know. Yeah, you know. But listen, to be honest, like they weren't. I don't think they were really in the reality show framework yet. I understand what Teddy did. I think it was the wrong decision. I never in a million years would have done what Teddy did. But Teddy, I think it says a little bit about you and, of course, Harrison. And next time we have Harrison on the show, we'll be sure to ask him about it. But Teddy, we got to say bye to you now. Thank you so much for joining us, man. We appreciate it every time.
No worries, guys. Thanks for having me, and we'll see you next week.
See you, buddy.
Bye, Teddy. I will say, you know, you don't realize how close the contestants on this show get. I mean, even in my season, you know, you become really good friends with these people in the moment, and I think you can allude to that as well, but we weren't even on the road. I mean, I had moments to myself on my season, but being on the road, I can't imagine how close you guys must have gotten.
It's a completely different story when you're spending that much time. We were on the road for a while, and we did everything together, right? Yeah. We're together all day while we're shooting, while we're preparing, then we go out and eat at night. So we're with each other 24/7, and we developed some pretty close bonds.
Which is an amazing segue. Thank you, both of you, because we actually have some footage of the 6 kind of bonding on the field at Guelph University. Let's take a look, guys.
Oh, that was impressive.
That wasn't me.
It was all Bruno.
Oh, what a grab!
And a tie.
Oh, he takes out the thing.
Signs it.
Off the bar?
Oh, here we go.
Off the cross, yeah, crossbar.
Ronaldinho.
Off the crossbar?
Uh-oh.
Whoa!
One take. That was one take.
Wait, I have a question. Did you,
Rush
did I hear correctly? Did you call off the crossbar?
Yeah, I called
Wow.
that. You know what? That's a lucky shot. I mean,
You don't admit that.
but
Come on, you
but
gotta
I
be like,
mean,
yo, I hit that every time.
you know
I'm
what?
Bruno.
Yeah.
You know what? I do play a little bit of football.
Oh, there it is.
actually. I just
Yeah.
play touch football. I don't play
I'm
like
joking,
legit
man.
football or anything. But yeah, I was in the moment. We were all having fun. I'm like, you know what, guys? I'm hitting the crossbar right now. Give me that ball. And I hit it dead on, and it bounces off the crossbar and right into Harrison's arms. Like, it was nuts.
No, definitely. It shows how much you guys were bonding, especially at that point. I wonder if the bonding is going to continue throughout the show. A little bit of foreshadowing coming up. But Bruno, I think we're going to. Do we have? Hang on, I'm checking with the producers. Do we have?
Do we have?
We have Julian Barbosa on the line. Julian, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing very good. Yourself?
Good. Your thumbs are getting a workout, eh?
I know. I had to call off my house when I just got home. My cell phone died.
Oh, wow, because you were tweeting so much.
Yeah, that did it, yeah.
Okay, so I want to start with, you know what, let's start with the stuff on Jude versus Corey. What was that about? You really thought that Jude should have been top 6 over Andrew Corey, eh?
Yeah, I mean, maybe nothing against Corey in him specifically, but just like I was there getting ready in that little change cubicle we had, and I had the opportunity to actually hear and then watch Jude go through his gauntlet with you and the prompter and so on, and like he killed it. Like I was so impressed. I actually got intimidated because I was directly after him, right? So I was legitimately shocked because I waited in the lobby for everyone to come back, and when I saw Jude there, I just couldn't believe he came back. I thought he deserved to be there.
So we got to call you on the fact that you're backpedaling a bit because your tweet was pretty much directed at Andrew Corey in his German accent. So you're saying that you would have had the other top 5 and then put Jude in instead of Corey. You can say it, man.
Maybe not instead of Corey. I just, when I saw the episode and like it's nothing towards Corey. Like I got to get that like across. But the fact that he got it because of an accent, I was like, oh, are you serious? Like it's nothing against Corey. It's just the fact that was like the
I think you're making a pretty big assumption there, saying that Corey got in because of his accent. No?
I just think Jude got robbed, and even to a certain extent.
That's fair. That is fair. And you know what? We were very impressed with Jude as well. That's why it came literally down to the wire with him. But I think it's a little unfair to say Andrew Corey got picked for his accent and his accent alone. I don't think Greg Sansoni would appreciate that comment.
It's a good point.
No, probably not, but that's the way it came across on the show.
But that's your opinion, so that's fair.
Let's jump to your other bit of drama from your Twitterverse today, which was taking the shot at Teddy a little bit. What was that about?
Listen, what you guys don't know there at the show, maybe a couple guys know, is I wasn't able to get the time off to come, so I had to leave my job. And then the day before drafted started, I actually had a funeral to attend, my aunt, and I was kind of in not the best place, and I had to kind of just, shut the door and come in and with a fresh start to draft it. And as you guys obviously know, I didn't make it to top 6. And then I was waiting in the lobby. Mante was there as well, and Reed Price, and like I got to give a shout out to those guys for being there because like a lot of guys didn't want to be there, which is fine. That's their prerogative. I get that. So Harry was my roommate, and Anthony I became friends with over the couple of days there at boot camp. I was just talking to them, whatever. And then we're about to all go for dinner, drinks. I'm not sure what the plan was. So more or less, Teddy comes up to me and he's like, listen, it's kind of like a top 6 thing. And for lack of a better word, told me to shoo off. And I just thought that was very, ill-timed, and I just...
You know what? As much as I disagree with you about your Andrew Corey comments, I could see how someone saying that to you would be very off-putting. So I got your back on that one, Julian.
I appreciate that.
So, Julian, we got to say goodbye to you. I hope you don't mind that we called you up, and I hope you don't mind that I call you the vest. But I love it so much. And thanks for being a part of this whole thing. And don't stop tweeting just because we called you out on it. Cool?
I'm not trying to be dramatic, guys, but like that's been on my chest for a couple months. I just wanted to get it off.
Oh, no.
I'm glad to hear it. Listen.
You're the star of the after show today, Barbosa.
Yeah.
Don't apologize at all.
I
You
loved it.
overshadowed our boy Bruno here.
These character reveals are important. We don't have a winner at this point, so
listen,
I want to know everything there is to know.
Like I said to producer Mike Reed, you guys were class acts, and I was actually impressed that you guys are just as cool on camera as off the camera, and I would want you guys to work with someone who's a great guy. So I felt I had to say that. So
thank you, Julian. I hope you're still going to pursue your career in sports. You are, yes?
Yeah, I am. I'm going to Guelph Umber because you inspired me to go to Guelph Umber.
Nice.
So
Way to go, man. That's
Right
awesome.
here, right here.
Way to end on a positive note. Thanks, man. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
all right, cheers, guys.
All right, guys. So we got to get into our final thoughts here. Do you have anything, has your opinion changed moving forward? What are you thinking?
Well, last week I was all for Harrison.
Yeah.
And this week he kind of disappointed me because after his first great question at the press conference, I totally forgot he was there. Except he's got a really great thinking face when other people are talking. He's like,
He does. He intently listens. I love it.
So I like watching and I was like, oh, Harrison not doing too good. Then I saw the face, and now I feel like he's hungry. He wants it
So
now.
you're still on the Harrison train.
He's got a little bit of anger in him now,
Wow.
so he's gonna really go for it in the next one.
Jackie, has this changed anything for you seeing this episode?
You know what? Last week, what did I say last week? I think I said I was all about this guy.
Yeah,
last
that's
week.
right.
That's
I was, and you know what? That factual error, Bruno. That's,
it's
no,
I know.
you know what? I'm actually not gonna hold that against Bruno. I've been there myself. It sucks. But you learn a lot from those mistakes. But this week, you know what? I think Andrew Corey, I mean, you only saw a little bit of it in the episode, and it's funny that we're talking to Julian about Andrew Corey and whether or not he deserves to be in the top 6, because at this point, you know, there's a lot to be said for personality and being likable, and I think Andrew Corey has that bit of an it factor. I mean, he literally won over Stu Lang and the entire Guelph Griffins panel
very quickly.
Very quickly, and that's a skill. It's an important skill in this business. So, I mean, look out.
Bruno, do you have a final thought while you're here with us? Something.
What I want to know is, where is your headspace at this point going into the next challenge without giving anything away?
Yeah,
I mean,
so
what are you thinking at this point?
All I'm thinking is win. Any challenge that comes up, top 3 for sure. Like, you have to be in the top 3, and it's just all about consistency. I'm like, you know what? You got a bad one out of the way early, but you have to be consistent moving forward, because that's the only way you can win this show.
Were you at all rattled at this point?
I was rattled. When you said, Bruno, you came 4th, I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. But, I mean, I was rattled. Yeah. But, you know, you move on, right? You can't dwell on it. I was thinking about it that night when I went to bed. I'm like, how could you make that mistake? Like, if you do that 10 times, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get that right. But I just had to flush it out and just move forward from there.
Okay, guys, so we got to wrap up this after show now. Just 2 very quick things. First of all, to the University of Guelph and the Guelph Griffins that are undefeated at this point, congratulations. One sad note to pass your way, John Rush, who was the linebacker you saw there, actually hurt his ACL. He's out for the year. We wish him a speedy recovery. He's a great guy, a great football player, and all the best to him. And all the best to our good friend, Brody Thiessen. Brody was on the road with us the whole time. He works here at Sportsnet 360.
Brody.
He's that stud in front. He's actually getting married right now to a lovely woman named Rachel. They're together now. I think it's now Rachel Thiessen. So I just wanted to say congratulations to them. We love you guys so much. All the best. And that's it, guys. That's it for the after show. But of course, we're going to be back next Friday after episode number 3. It's going to be another fantastic episode. I can't wait. Remember, if you guys are watching this on repeat, you go to drafted.ca to watch this after show in its entirety. Guys, episode number 3, I'm pumped. I can't wait. They got a little tease there to Cooperstown, eh? It's a lot of fun,
It's a good
eh?
one.
Yeah. Are you excited to see it?
Oh, I'm pumped.
And maybe you'll come back next time?
I'll come back anytime.
Yeah?
If you guys let me come back.
We're definitely going to have you back. Okay, guys, thanks so much to Bruno, for everybody. We'll see you guys next time.